Hello, and welcome back to Writing with Witches, the podcast where neither of us were really ready to record tonight, but we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
It's been a week. Anyway, uh,
Yeah.
today we're talking about making readers cry.
My
Real
favorite
tears,
pastime.
right? Um, my name is Leona Urbanski. I'm one of your hosts. I'm a debut author with my book coming out in a couple of weeks. Fire Magic, the first book of the Deathgate trilogy. I had to look at the date on our notes to see where we were at.
Yeah.
Um, and my co-host is
I am Nicole Autumn. I am the author of the Secret Society series, the completed Secret Society series. Yeah. just throw that out there. It's completed. It is done.
it is. That is important.
Yeah. So, book news. I've been still re-editing, which is fun. I went to write today and my brain was just so soupy. It did not happen. So I focused on fixing a book cover instead, which still drove me absolutely up the wall because I had to learn what PPIs are.
Pixels per inch.
Yeah, that was fun. Even though I made
Yep.
it what it said it wanted it still didn't matter. It was still not happy.
Yeah, we're learning that you can't make Ingram Sparks happy.
No,
It
you
didn't
can't.
like mine either.
Oh gosh, yeah. So that's been fun to do this week. Any book news for you?
I got absolutely laid out with the virus this week. Like, this is the first day since Tuesday that I have not taken a nap because and I got the fun virus that gives you vertigo and nausea without a
Oh,
fever, but I couldn't drive. I wasn't allowed to drive for a few days.
that's rough. Yeah.
I have done nothing. I have the most effort I have put into anything has been playing Baldur's Gate 3. So that's
Oh,
all I can say there.
perfect way to pass the time, if you ask me.
I have almost dumped a full 24-hour day into this game and I feel ashamed.
If you feel ashamed at 24 hours, I would hate to tell you how much time I've spent on that game.
To be fair, you've had it a little longer than I have too, so that makes a difference.
That is true. But when I got it, I was addicted. I could not stop playing. It was it was a problem.
That's fair.
Yeah. I've dumped like well over 300 hours into that game.
Yeah. So yeah, no
Yeah.
book news for me. I got a couple of chapters of Fate Touch rewritten, but um that's it. Yeah.
Well, you did get everything input on
Yes.
Ingram
Fire.
and Draft to Digital, so now you can pre-order. Well, by this time, yeah, you should still be able to pre-order at this point.
It's still
Yeah,
pre-order.
yeah. So
Yeah.
pre-order your copy, your digital copy of Fire Magic. So there's that.
There is that. That is that. I have had a couple of friends say they already pre-ordered it, so that made me feel warm and fuzzy inside.
Woo! I mean, I have a physical copy from the ARC, and then I'm gonna buy like another like full done copy. I'm trying to decide though, do I buy the special edition or not? That's the hard question.
That's the hard. I will have one of each
Well, that makes
because I
sense.
have
You're
to
the
go
author.
over the proofs. I have
Yeah,
to go over the proofs. So
yeah. Should
yeah.
we jump in today's episode?
Yes. I think we went over your book news for you.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
which was not a
Wow.
lot.
Brain is soup. Brain is soup.
Yeah, let's just say we've both had very long weeks. We're both very tired, very low energy, but we're showing up anyways. So that's the goal.
Yeah. That is the goal.
Yeah.
We will complete the goal. Anyway, on to why make readers cry.
Cuz we're mean. That's why.
Because we can.
That's what we want. That is what I yearn for, is readers' tears. If I could bottle them and keep them as a trophy, I would.
Make Nicole happy. Send her a bottle of your tears.
Yes, please, please do. Just even if it's just a little vial, just be like, I cried these tears while reading this. I would love that.
I mean, the epilogue of Unveiled will do it. So,
if you do read the novella, that'll give you a taste of the epilogue in Unveiled.
yeah,
It'll sock you right in your family jewels, even if you don't have them, but you'll feel it.
you'll feel it.
You'll feel it.
Anyway,
yeah. Mostly because art is supposed to make people feel things, whether that's happy, sad, mad, frustrated. The whole point is for you to connect with the art and it brings up some type of emotion for you. That is the big, why do you want to make them cry? Because you want them to connect. That's it.
Yeah, art's meant to make you feel emotions. Now, the stronger the emotion, the more effective your art, even if that emotion is hate. Because guess what? It made him feel something.
Oh, yeah. It makes me wonder if people just are like, you know what? I'm just going to write the craziest, most absurd book so people read it and just absolutely hate it. There's got to be someone that's done at least that once.
I mean, there is literally something called rage bait in the social media community. So I am absolutely sure that somebody has actually bothered to write it, or they used AI to write it. That would really make someone hate it.
Oh, yeah. See, but AI wouldn't, I mean, if I knew it was AI, I wouldn't hate it on the level of someone writing something just so absurd or stupid. And you're like, you really put months and months and effort into this to give me this? Where AI,
I mean,
like,
I have felt that.
Spit it out. Have you really?
The last book that I read, I'm not gonna say hate. I admire what she did, but I dislike strongly.
I mean, I can't say the last book I read I hated it, but I definitely was just like, really? So I guess we're on that same wavelength a little bit.
So, but I mean, that kind of tells us the difference right there. Like, we didn't feel anything. Like, there was so blah that that the art didn't connect with us. We didn't connect with the art to feel something. Versus, even if we hate it, we're feeling something. We're connecting with the art. Yeah. Versus just bleh.
Yeah. Another good example for that for me was when I read Druid Curse. It was just, I didn't care about the characters. I didn't care about the story. I felt bored. And that is something I feel like is worse than someone hating on your work. Saying that your book was boring, it's like, oh man, I really screwed up then. If I don't even get hate comments, it's just, this was boring. That would hurt.
Yeah. that would hurt.
Yeah.
I really hope I don't get that. We'll see.
I can't see someone saying your book was boring. I mean,
we'll see.
Everyone has their opinion, but that opinion would be wrong. So
I love my cheerleader.
Yeah. I will always be rooting you on because it's a great book. It really is.
Well, thank you. Anyway, so yeah, that's the point. Is art is meant to make you feel something, whether that's a good, positive emotion or a negative emotion or a sad emotion. It's, if you're not feeling something and you're not connecting to the book that you're reading, the author failed in some way. Whether it's specifically to you, could be you're just like, I'm not really interested in this topic, or they failed fundamentally in making any reader feel anything, which is rare.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, people usually find some way to connect to, even if it's monster smut. What was it? The Morning Glory Milking Farm? People still feel something.
Yeah, turned on.
It's something, isn't it?
Hey, that's an emotion, and sex sells, man. It really does. So if you can feel get someone their engine revved up, it's gonna get passed around.
I mean, to be fair, secret society, that's definitely a goal.
It was, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but there were several people that did say it did something for them. So,
There you
um,
go.
but we did touch on something that you have to feel a connection with the book, and a lot of the times it is the characters. When you really connect to characters and bad things start happening, or hell, even good things start happening, you're excited for them, you're sad, you're upset with them. So if you can make your characters real to the readers, that is your surefire way to make your readers invested and feeling something. So layering those characters to have traits and all this stuff that makes them real, bingo, emotions.
Yeah, you got to be able to relate to the characters. If you can't, that's why some of the characters in some of the popular literature right now really feel disconnected to me because they are trying to make these badass characters that can do this and this and this and this and this. And at the same time, they're trying to make them vulnerable. And in my experience, going through experiences like that, I'm just gonna let myself call it out here. Feyre from the Akatar series. Going through experiences like that does not make you feel like a vulnerable person. You put up
Mm-mm.
walls, you put up barriers, you close yourself off after going through that kind of trauma and PTSD. And she was still trying to let you connect to Feyre as a vulnerable and uncertain and should she do this or should she do that? And it's like you go through that kind of thing, you either come out completely broken or you come out forged. And she was trying to put it somewhere in the middle. And
Yeah.
I just, to me, as someone that has studied the trauma, has studied trauma, it's just not very believable, which
Yeah.
is why I kind of stopped. Like, the most believable character to me in Akatar is Nesta, and that was only in her book, the Book of Court of Silver Flames. That was where I most connected to was Nesta and not Feyre. But
Yeah.
anyway, random tangent there. But
I mean, I agree. I haven't read past the first book, but Nesta was kind of a bitch, but it made her believable. And like you said, I tried to cut that out. I didn't think I was fast enough. Um, yeah, so you have to make your characters believable in the way, and I agree that a lot of people are trying to make their female main characters these badass hardcore women. And yes, they are out there, but those are women that are very hard to get close to, very hard to get to know, very hard to peel back those layers. The same way they make their men like onions, where they're like, oh no, I'm going to put you at a distance, but no, bring you, like, women can be the same way. And then characters are just like that in between of, oh, I want to be vulnerable and soft, but I've gone through all this stuff. Like you said, it's not believable. Or, someone that's just constantly, I don't know, just naive all the time in every single way. You're just like, are you not an adult? Have you not gone through the world that you're just like, oh? Because I've read those too, where it's just like characters are just so naive to everything that's going on around them. My character was one of them. Not that naive, but she had her moments of being optimistically naive. But, yeah, you got to make them believable a little bit.
I think not naive, but the trying to make them vulnerable while still being a badass. I think that was one of my main issues with Butcher and the Blackbird. And she was a serial killer. She was a hardened person. She had layers. She was on her toes. She was like in that dinner where he was trying to drug him. She was on top of everything. And I was like, okay, this is making sense. And then the scene right before she goes to the ball, where she's getting herself ready and she's looking in the mirror and all of these uncertainties. And I'm like, that's not who we just saw. It was
Yeah.
such a 180 from the person we saw not 2 chapters ago. And I'm like, what? Where the heck did like there was no like thread of uncertainty in her actions before this, and now suddenly that's all she feels. And I understand it was a different emotional situation, and it was about her connection with, I don't even remember the guy's name, the butcher serial killer guy.
It's been a
But
while since I've read it, so I don't remember.
right, but it was just too much. It was like it didn't even snowball. It just avalanched on you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think people try to make characters a certain way in order to fit what's popular, and it kind of just becomes rinse, wash, repeat. Like all the time. Wash, rinse, repeat. That's what it is.
You choose you, man. I'm not gonna say a word.
Brain soup. Um so yeah. And with that, you also have to make their decisions make sense on top of being believable characters. You know, you can't have one character, out here just being a badass, being an assassin, and then like pouting because their dinner is cold. Like, I don't know. That just, those two things just wouldn't make sense to me. I'm like, what? Like, yeah. So making their decisions line up with the personality that you have set up is probably a good way to make your characters more believable.
Yeah, their life and circumstances are going to always influence their decisions, and you can't have them like you said, they're off killing. What was it? It was another Moss book.
Was
uh
it Throne of Glass?
no, the city one with Bryce and the angel dude. um I don't remember. I'm sure
Crescent
someone's gonna
City?
call me up. Yeah, I think so.
I think it's that
The
book
fir-
series you might be talking about.
yeah, it's the first one of that. It's the
Okay.
one where she ended up vacuuming up the angel at the end of it. But anyway, people know what I'm talking about.
Not
Anyway,
me.
but one of the characters is an angel who's been alive for centuries. He's been a hitman for centuries. And he starts to come out to Bryce, and she starts to unpeel those layers, which was fine. And then suddenly they make him go do a hit again, and he just completely falls apart. And they're like, oh, this happens all the time. It's like, you've been a hitman for centuries, and you still fall apart every time you kill someone?
Yeah,
You're not
that
even
doesn't add
human,
up.
man.
Yeah,
Like,
you would think they wouldn't have the same morality set as a human would.
yeah.
Mm.
It was just that one really, like, I will give Moss, the ending was very, very good. Um with how she killed that angel. But short story, she shot him in the head with an angel killing gun, burned him alive, and then vacuumed up the ashes, and then put the vacuum cleaner bag in the garbage out back.
That's kind of comical. She's like, don't mind me, just vacuuming up the ashes. Mm. What?
Exactly.
Oh my god, that's funny. Yeah.
It worked. Anyway, so if you don't know what book I'm talking about, if you've read it, you'd recognize it by now. Um, so yeah, but having that centuries old angel hitman suddenly fall apart after killing someone. Like, I'm not trying to make light of someone killing somebody. Don't
This is
don't
fiction though.
read that into what I'm saying. This is fiction. But it's like, okay, I'm gonna compare it because I'm an equestrian. It's like somebody who rides horses for a living, and every time they get thrown off the horse, they break down.
Yeah.
No, you get back up and you get back up on the horse and you just keep going like nothing happened.
Yeah.
That's that's kind of where I'm at with this centuries old hitman. I'm like, you just keep going, man. Why are you breaking down?
Yeah. You would think after that long, like, you would have detached at some point. So
Yeah.
yeah, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, that one lost me there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, you were talking about his backstory, which brings us to our next one, is tragic backstories. Having a tragic backstory really helps readers connect and not only see the vulnerable sides of your characters, but if they have gone through something similar, they then form that connection of, oh, we've gone through similar things, so I can see why they do certain things the way they do, or why they said this, or how they act. And if you're making sense with their tragic backstory and their decisions and making it believable, that can form really strong emotions with your readers, because it is that deep empathy and connection, or sympathy even, that they are feeling for that character. Ooh, itchy nose. Sorry.
And I mean, this tragic backstory can go to any character. It can go to your protagonist, it can go to your antagonist, it can go to the side character. Finding a way to let your readers connect with multiple characters in multiple different ways is going to make you get tugged on the heartstrings even more as you. Sorry, I just had a phrase from the last book I read with heartstrings run through my head and I had to rewind for a second.
Pause, rewind.
Yeah. Uh, um, making them feel some. The more you make them feel something, and the more connections you have, and the more ways that you have for them to connect, is going to influence how much they feel with your characters. And tragic backstory is, it's a way to do it, but don't overdo it.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is I feel like everyone has some type of tragic backstory, but make it believable. Again, make it genuine. You know, maybe one of your characters' parents walked out on him, right? That shit sucks and it happens to people every day and people deal with it differently. So looking into how people react to that or cope with that and putting that towards a character, then those people can relate. So yeah, I mean, doing some kind of crazy ass backstory that is highly unbelievable, it will serve as a disconnect almost, because you're like, there's no way that could have happened, even though it's fiction and it didn't. But you still want to have that connection with your characters that you're reading.
You got to give your readers the crumb of common sense for them to be able to connect to you, especially in a fantasy novel. Like, Brenna is straight up a war veteran. I read several autobiographies of war veterans to try and give her the right attitude and having gone through that experience so that people could connect with her like that. Mm-hmm. But my initial thought is, it's not a hugely tragic backstory like some people may give their characters, but at the same time, a war veteran, that is tragic.
That's dark. That's a dark
but
path.
It's so common thanks to world events that you don't think of it that way anymore, and that is a tragedy.
Yeah, people seeing war it's gruesome and it's dark, and they deal with a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So Brenna has had to deal with her own darkness on her own, which a lot of people do, and that's something that they can relate to, you know. So shit, I had a point and then it flew away. Pooh, I don't remember.
I don't know where you're going with it either, so I can't say.
Know. We were talking about tragic backstories. That's all I remember. Yeah, it's one of those days, guys. I'm so sorry. um, let's just go to the next point. Readers need to
Okay.
feel the emotion. um, when your characters start feeling strong emotions, being able to connect that to readers is only going to help them feel it too. And with that, a lot of that has to do with the craft of writing and how well you can portray certain emotions to your readers.
It's deciding that tone and the syntax and how you're going to phrase certain things in order to connect to your readers. Is it going to be short and sharp and hard, or is it going to be longer and confusing, and or are you in a battle scene? It's going to be very visceral and bloody and gory. So while those all just seem like adjectives to a writer, you they do mean something because it's going to influence how your writing tone changes and adapts, because it's not going to be the same through the whole story, because you're going to have those emotions that are short and sharp and hard, and your writing has to reflect that. That's when you get a lot of those one line sentences with just one word, like "oh fuck me" kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
um but then, a couple pages later you go back into your normal writing. So making the choices, that is the writing craft, and that's what you have to learn how to be good at as a writer.
Yeah. Um, I don't think I had anything to add to that. I
Okay.
think you covered it great. Um, so that would bring us to our witchy tip, um, which is, since we're talking about connecting and making readers cry, we talked about connecting emotions with our intent. You can have intent, but if you can pair the emotion with the intent of what you're doing, that only strengthens the magic you'll work. So being able to say, you know, I don't know, say you want to win the fucking lottery. Will that happen? Probably not. Chances are slim. But if you really fucking want it, you know what I'm saying? Being able to pair that intent with the want and the not the want, pair the emotion with the intent and working your magic strengthens it, makes it better. Yeah, I'm so tired. I'm so sorry.
Itchy tip. We often say it, intent is everything. And if you can couple that with that emotion, that's just going to increase the horsepower of your magic
Yeah.
and make it that much stronger. Because the stronger the emotion, the stronger the intent.
Mm-hmm.
All I
Well
gotta
said.
say.
Yeah. Short and sweet. So moving on to describing the moment. So when you are coming up on a scene that you really want to like pack the punch, hit them hard, right? Right in the feels. You can go about this certain ways. I know for me personally, I am really connected with music. So I will put music on that can help me get into the emotion I want to portray. Um, so in those ones where you are trying to portray those strong emotions, maybe even getting into that mood or whatever to write it will help really convey it so when readers get to it, they feel it. So, yeah.
That kind of comes back to what I was saying about the writing craft, is being able to describe that emotion in the moment.
Yeah.
um, so that readers can, you can't just say they felt sad. No,
Yeah.
you need to show that they're feeling sad. They felt tears welling in their eyes, or their hands were shaking, or they couldn't believe this was happening, or something along those lines. I'm not going to try and go into a writer's one-on-one course right now. That's not what we're here for. But
Yeah.
you have to show and not tell. And those strong emotions especially applies to here. Because
Yeah.
if you are only telling your readers what to feel, it's like telling a toddler they have to do something.
Yeah.
It's
It's
not
not
going to
gonna work that
happen.
well.
You have to work them into the moment to let them come to their own conclusion on how the reader, on how the character is feeling for those strong emotions.
Yeah. Um and also you also have to think of the parameters of where you're doing it. You have to go based off of what you're just wrote and how you lead up to it. So, for example, in my novella, as it leads up to this very, very sad moment for my main character, Amy, um, she talks about how she's even struggling to even walk to this place, being like hesitant. Her legs feel like lead, and every step just feels like she just can't keep pushing forward. So you have to take what you've already written and kind of like you said, transition into that moment that you're going to write that is really just gonna freaking hit them where it hurts, you know? um, so you also have to think about after that, transitioning after it too. So you got to play around and figure out how the best way to do that. And like I said, sometimes getting in that, I'm a very visual person. I can visualize a lot in my head. So music just kind of helps turn that light on. But yeah, you got to also lead up to that moment and to where when it finally happens, whatever this you're writing, you could just really feel, god damn, my words today just aren't working. Oh my
We forgot our
gosh.
shirts again.
I know. So I did look for mine, and I think mine's in the dirty laundry. So I need to do laundry. Words are hard, especially
Words are
when,
hard.
you've had a long week and 9 hours of sleep between 3 days has been fun.
A plus.
A plus plus for effort, not for words.
Not for words.
Not for the words.
But yeah, it's were we kind of transitioning into that second point of paying off the previous? Is that where you were going with this?
Yeah.
Yeah, paying off what happened previously, like bringing up a memory from earlier in the book or a moment earlier in the book or sometime in the backstory that you've given these characters. So playing off of something that happened is going to pay off to help you feel those strong emotions because it's going to make the reader feel like they've been going on this journey with the character and learning all of these things about them so that when that moment comes, you make them cry.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Um, I will say also, in these times, if you are not necessarily in a battle scene, right? If it is one of those real sad moments, I feel like this is where, if you want to test your hand at prose, this would be the place to do it. Because this is where I feel prose can really pay off. When you can paint a visual picture of someone's pain or sadness, happiness, grief, anger, whatever, that can really connect with the readers. So I'm not a fan of prose in writing in whole books. That drives me absolutely up the wall because I get sidetracked very easily. And I'll be like, what were we talking about 5 minutes ago? I don't know. Because we're talking about a leaf fluttering in the wind and how it reminds you of Pocahontas. I don't know. Um, I'm just like, okay, there we go. We're off.
Girl.
But if you can manage to make prose work in these scenarios, I feel like the payoff is so, so, so much better in making your readers connect.
And that's what prose is meant to do. I mean, prose is not meant to be what the whole book is written in my opinion. That's,
Yeah.
like you said, the more flowery, flourish the language, the harder it is for the reader to keep track.
Mm-hmm.
And I will go back to a book I just read called When the Moon Hatched. And I don't remember the author's name. The entire book was prose.
I couldn't. Bless you.
And I'm not saying she didn't write it well, she did. However, the main issue I had is she kept talking about the main male character, Kaan, Kaan, and how built he was and how muscular it was. But the words being used to describe his muscles made me think of like those bodybuilders with the really like grotesque swollen muscles that just like you can barely see their face because they're, you know, that's what it looks like in my head
Yeah.
because of the words that she was using to describe it. And I know that's not what she meant. I'm well aware that's not what she meant, but that is how I saw him in my head. And you know how hard it is for me to visualize something. So for me
Yeah.
to get that impression and visualize something like that tells you just how strongly she was using that prose.
Yeah. No, thank you.
I was just absolutely baffled. Like I know what she was going for, but for me as a reader, that was not the um that was not the end result that she wanted.
Yeah. Uh I can't say I would be very happy with that visual because if you could visualize that, then I could only imagine what she was writing and what my brain would have pictured. Mine would have been like one of the memes of like big built bodybuilders and just like muscles on muscles on muscles. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Like
I
the
don't like that.
cartoonish, like it's so many muscles, it's cartoonish almost is what I was seeing in my head. Like he
Yeah,
was a
see,
mountain of a man. I was like, so he's just like rumbling along like a mountain on wheels.
oh my god,
Literally.
it
That's what I've
it's
seen.
all I can think of when you say that is like when you said cartoonish, my brain went to like, you know, if like a cartoon was to eat like fucking Popeye and his spinach, right? And all of a
Yes.
sudden he just like bulks up all crazy, and you're just like, what the hell? That's what I thought of.
Except like 3 times worse than Popeye with the
Oh god,
muscles.
that's funny. Oh man.
I'm gonna get so
Uh,
much hate for that, and I'm sorry. It wasn't a bad book. It was just the prose, man. It was too much.
it wasn't for you. Some people love
No.
that.
Yeah, no, that's great, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah, I can't read that many prose. I get, like I said, distracted, squirrel brain. I can't.
The
I'm
ADHD
like,
kicks in.
yeah, it really does. And then I have to stop and I'll have to go back and reread it, and then I get lost again because I'm like, what are we talking about? So, prose just I've learned early on prose were not for me, which is why I did not understand poetry at all growing up. Poetry in school was absolutely awful. And my friend growing up, who I'm still friends with, she wrote some of the most beautiful poetry. Like I could tell it sounds beautiful. Like the imagery that she painted, I don't know what the fuck it meant though. Like I could not tell you. I'm like, it sounds great. It sounds lovely. But I don't know anything of what you just were talking about. I don't know how it connects.
So, lesson to be learned from this tangent is use prose in limited quantities to make it pay off the most.
Yes, agreed. Um Also, when you're writing these scenes, you need to sometimes give your characters and your readers a trickle of hope. Give them something that will keep them going, even as little as it may be. Even if it is, I just need to get to tomorrow. I just need to get to the other side of whatever this is.
You have to have something that keeps them going. Maybe that is just pure tenacity, maybe that is pure stubbornness, but there has to be something for the reader to latch onto to see why this character is still going. Why is this character still holding up their sword to fight off whatever demon is coming to beat them when they know they don't have a chance. Why? Why? Give them something to latch onto, give them something to understand. If there is no hope, there's no way forward. Like, all you're gonna do is sit and get stalled and get stuck in this muck. And even, okay, never ending story, right? Artax, horse, dying in the swamp of sadness. There was still hope because up to the end, you were hoping he was going to pull Artax out of that swamp. He didn't. And he had to keep going because he had the tenacity and he had the hope that he had to finish this journey. But right up until that horse sunk into the swamp, you had hope that he was going to make it. So, I know, right?
So sad. But you make a point. If you take everything away from the character, what is the point of going on? You know, maybe that's your goal. If that's your goal and they're just like, I've lost everything, I have nothing to move on from to keep me going. I mean, that's an emotion, and that's something that, especially today, a lot of people can connect with. Like, everything's gone to shit. Why even bother? But typically, you want your story to keep moving.
That was me.
It wasn't me this time.
It was me. It was me. I almost got it before you heard it.
Yeah. So yeah, giving your character something to keep pushing forward, so it does make that emotion of what they just felt. It sucks, but you know, sometimes you have to push through. And a lot of people can relate to that today too. Even though it sucks, you got to keep going. You got to keep pushing. So if you have no hope, that is an emotion, but typically you want your characters to keep going and push through whatever they're getting through. Yeah.
Unless you're at the end of the book, like with Brenna, who just collapsed because there was nothing left.
I mean, I won't spoil the ending of mine, but yeah, sometimes the end is just the end, you know?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So was there anything else that you may have thought of? Because
no, I have no hope.
I have no hope either, and my brain is like, no. So that brings us to book reviews. Would you like to go? I have a feeling both of our book reviews are not going to be too great today.
Oh, mine will be amazing.
Okay, so you're not reviewing When the Moon Hatched. Okay.
No, not today. That'll come. It'll come.
Okay, well, if you like your book, we'll start with yours. We'll give them the high, and then we'll go to the low.
I didn't say I liked it.
Oh.
So we're just going to go low to low.
Low to low. All right.
All right. The last book in the Black Stallion series. Black Stallion and the Lost City by Stephen Farley. I got 2 words to summarize this book. Human sacrifice.
Oh.
That's serious. It happens.
Oh. Okay. For a horse book?
How we went to this in this book, I don't understand.
You're so confused. Wait, wasn't the last one about aliens too? Like, just bizarre?
Yeah, no, the last one was about the shifter, the Selkie. It was about the Selkie. No,
that's right.
Selkie? The horse shifter. Selkie, right?
Yeah.
No.
Something like that, but I thought there was also some type of...
Well, in a previous book, there was aliens. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm mixing them together because I haven't read them, but
that's totally fair.
They sound wild.
For a book that is only 245 pages.
Human sacrifice.
It is wild. Like, you get to the end of this thing and you're like, is he really gonna, oh my god. He really did that. I'm just...
There are no words.
To sum it up, it's about, it dives into Greek myth. And I don't remember the god, that it dove into. It's been a minute since I've read it. But Diomedes is who it dives into. Is the god that we're talking about. And Diomedes had man-eating horses.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Um, and Alec and the Black somehow get caught in this world, this city that has stayed the same through time because of magic, because of these gods. And it is effed up. Like, I'm sorry, but just the pacing and the I'm sorry, but I'm glad this was the last book in the Black Stallion series, so I didn't have to read another Stephen Farley book. Like, he started out good,
Yeah.
and but just if he wanted to dive into myth and legend of horses, I am all for that. I love that. But he didn't need to take the Black Stallion into it because that was not the main storyline of this series.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. But human sacrifice, it happens
That's
at
odd.
the end of the book.
That's odd. Wow.
That's it. That's all I've got to say.
Well, I'll take you down my book review. So I picked up Hollow by Selena Myers. Now, you may not know that name, but I'm sure you do. So Selena Myers is also Selena Spooky Boo on the internet. She wrote a book, which apparently I picked up the re-released version. I didn't like it. I was very sad because I do like Selena as a content creator, and I can appreciate, the sleepwalking videos, whether they're fake or not. I know there's a big hoopla about that. I really don't care. I find it funny. Her paranormal investigations, love it. Her spooky story times, love them. Even when, she was going through everything with her husband, Adam, I followed through that and her pregnancy and everything. Like, I followed with everything. Love it. Anyways, this book follows Mia Adair, and it's supposedly a vampire book where she has to pick a house after being turned into a vampire and dying. She has to pick a house to align herself with for protection reasons. This whole storyline was a little bit of a mess. She plays it as a love triangle in there as well, which it felt like plot and romance was almost like two books in the same book, if that makes sense. And the romance was kind of just thrown in every once in a while in the most odd times. So I did not like that. It felt very afterthought. The dialogue, the romance was like insta love, awkward, forced weirdness. It wasn't fun. And the end, like, curveball, or like, what's that word for, like, I don't know. It wasn't that great. I saw it from a mile away. Like, there was no suspense leading up to, like, the big, oh my God, she's the one that did it. It's like, duh. I could have told you that from freaking chapter 3. So the suspense wasn't there. The writing wasn't great. The narrating even wasn't that great either. No offense to the narrator. It was very choppy and awkward at some times. It was real rough. I wanted to like it. I love vampire books. It's what got me reading again. So when I go to pick up a romance, especially a vampire one, I'm expecting to love it, even if it is like trash. But no, this one was kind of just trash. And it makes me sad. And the part that really bothered me is you could clearly tell that the main character was Selena self-inserted. And one of the characters, like the side characters, was her best friend, Chris, who is Call Me Chris. And like the whole time, all I could see is these two in my head in the book. So it completely took away from the storyline at its whole. And I'm like, okay, cool. So it's you wrote a book about you and your bestie in a fictional world. Which I'm sure authors do it all of the time. But when you have a very public persona and you are very out in the public, I don't know. It didn't work for me. It really didn't. I wanted to like it so bad because I like Selena as a content creator. I love vampires. It had the makings to be great. And it just was not. Like, even in my own review, I was like, I'm trying to find something that I liked about it. And I guess the LGBTQ rep, maybe the plus size rep. But again, and you to like 14 characters all at once. Not just like by name. No, she gives names, the day they were turned, or the time frame, like the year, and like their whole backstory of why they were turned into vampires. And I'm like, I'm not going to remember half of this. And I didn't. You could not ask me any of the backstories except for like the main two, like of the families, like the heads of the family. That's the only ones I could tell you. The rest of them, I don't know. I wish I could give you a better synopsis of the book, but it was kind of all over the place. It was kind of messy. Really didn't read like a first draft or final. No, it didn't read like a final draft. It read more like a second draft. It was not polished. It was rough. So, yeah, it was just bad. I wanted to like it so bad, but it did nothing for me. So I gave it a 2-star, which I want to say is my first 2-star of the year, I believe. Yeah, my first 2-star.
Well, at least it wasn't a 1.
It wasn't a 1. It could have easily been if I wanted to be real mean about it. But I didn't hate it. I didn't absolutely hate it. I got through the whole thing. But it was just like, and everyone's like, oh, the very end, the epilogue redeemed it in my eyes. And I'm like, it doesn't redeem it at all. It does not make me want to read the second book. And not only that, she does have other books. She has like written, I want to say like 4 or 5 other books. So for it to be that rough, no, 7. She has 7 other books. 7 books in total. So I'm like, yeah, doesn't make me want to go read anything else, unfortunately.
That's fair.
So yeah, book reviews were not on the high this week, unfortunately.
I don't know. I mean, kind of, I hit a high with Human Sacrifice, not gonna lie. Some kind of high. I don't know what it was, but it was some kind of high.
Okay, hold on. My computer screen just like hopped in there unknowingly. Why did you do that? So part of your face is covered for a second, so you might have to
Okay, it's fine.
Just hide behind the computer, like the window screen.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it is not going good. But I have 3 books that I'm currently reading now. So hopefully, I have a feeling Arcana Academy is going to be a good one.
Oh yeah, I'm reading it like chapter 6 or 7 on that one. I'm enjoying it thoroughly. Yeah, you're having fun.
Yes, and I just want to show my criteria for tabs, because I know people tab all the time, and I decided when we read, I tend to try and take notes because we are going to talk about it together on a thing. But I just love the tab system that I set up. Hopefully you can read it. Yeah. So mine's not the typical, like, plot, quotes. Like, yeah, there's that too, but, you know, I also have, like, Damn, by Kevin Hart. Or I have the because when I hit a good spot and I make that noise, I'm tabbing it, which I did today while I was walking on the treadmill.
Nice.
Thoroughly enjoying it so far, and I will definitely be picking up the pace now that I know that you and Alex have the book. So
Yeah, I'm getting there through it. So
nice. So that brings us to the end of this episode. You can find us at writingwithwitches.com, and you can email us at writingwithwitches@gmail.com. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Blue Sky, and TikTok, even though we are not posting on TikTok anymore because they've pretty much banned my ass on there for that account for whatever reason. So yeah, you can find us on there, but we're not posting. And we have a Discord server. So if you would like to join our Discord server, feel free to hop on in. We can chit chat about stuff. You can find me at all the aforementioned places. I also have a Discord server, and I actually have a web address that I can give you, which is authornicoleautumn.com instead of that .wix the site mumbo jumbo before. I bit the bullet and I got a domain name. So yeah, you can find me there. Leona.
you're going to mainly find me on Facebook and Instagram, or you can go to my website, leonaurbanskiauthor.com, or sign up for my Substack, leonaurbanskiauthor.substack.com. Yeah, and you can go to freaking Barnes & Noble to pre-order my book. I'm in shock still, I'm not going to lie. Can't find it on Amazon yet, but you can find it in Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
Tell you how I feel about Amazon.
Yeah. Also, you can go to mythweaverbooks.com, and you can sign up for our newsletter so you can be made aware of upcoming books, merch drops, all that stuff, because merch is coming. It's a slow process, but it is coming for our books in general, and we will have a shop where you can purchase books directly, as well as ebooks and eventually audiobooks and all that good stuff. So also check that out if you want to pick up some stuff for yourself.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
So next episode would be killing characters. Why or why not? We love this one too. I feel like you like it more than I do.
Yeah.
You kill more characters than I do. You
That's
also
fair.
practically mortally wound your characters a lot too.
I have a lot of disability representation. That's what I have.
That is very true. That is very true. You are not ableist at all.
Nope.
Yeah. So,
Thank you. I'm part of that community, so kind of have to be.
I mean, yeah. I mean, who isn't at this point? You know what I mean? We all have our issues. So, thank you for watching and or listening. We will be back next week. So, we hope you have a good week ahead, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.